What's up, gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to share with you how Cold Approach made me over $100,000. In fact, it made me $15,000 for just 5 hours of work. And I'm going to share with you that story here in a moment. But before we get into this, smash that like button. It helps me out with the algorithm. I would truly appreciate it. It costs you nothing and it would mean the world to me. Now, with all that good stuff out of the way, let's get into how Cold Approach changed my life and changed my bank account. Now, many of you may have seen the video I did with my father, and he told this story in that video. And maybe I'll link it somewhere around here or in the description down below if you want to see the whole thing. And he's the one who actually saw this go down in person, and I wanted to give you a little bit more context for what had occurred. So, before I was good at business, I was pretty good at dating, as my dad talks about in the video that I previously mentioned. I am pretty charismatic, I'm pretty sociable, and it's not that difficult for me to talk to people. And so at this point in my life, I was starting a business, but I had already made strides with my social skills, so I just like talking to people, seeing and learning more about people. And in general, I'm just curious about people, so I'm not really trying to get anything from them. In fact, I'll give you this tip. I generally do not ask people what they do for a living. If that is something they want to talk about and then they bring it up and ask me, then I will talk about it. But in general, that is not one of the conversation starters that I use. And I don't recommend you use it either. But with that said, let me tell you the story in a condensed version for the people who have not seen that video. So we were at a business conference. It is also kind of a political conference. And what we were doing is we were obviously there to learn about some investment opportunities, some business opportunities, and in general to network. And so I happened to sit by this lady, and so I just started to talk to her. And we just started chatting, and as usual, I just say, hey, my name is Josh. And I tell you, that is my Cold Approach line for pretty much anything. Hey, my name is Josh. What's your name? Easy conversation starter. And it's easy, and it's an easy icebreaker. And I don't really remember the next steps of the conversation from there. But I do remember she ended up asking me about what I did for work. And it just so happened that she was in the e-learning business. And I told her, oh, I do marketing for e-learning companies. Didn't think much of it. And then at the end, we exchanged numbers or Instagrams or WhatsApp or something like that. And she shoots me a message and she's like, hey, I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about marketing for e-learning because I have an e-learning company and I just want to pick your brain. And I was like, okay, cool. Why not? And so the next day we ended up going out to dinner or lunch or something before the seminar began. And so I showed her a little bit about what I do, how I do it, and why it works, and she thought it was interesting. And so we had a more official meeting on the books. And long story short, she paid me $15,000 for about 5 hours of work to build her a website, some email copy, and a webinar. And then she paid me $3,000 per month just to advertise that webinar on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And eventually she started paying me $3,500, I believe it was, plus 10% of the profits generated. And this was all because of a Cold Approach. Now, many of you think Cold Approach is just purely about dating. And here's the thing, I did this because I wanted to improve my social skills. I wanted to test my social skills, and in general, I'm just a curious person. And so if I wasn't in that phase of my life where I was working on my social skills and game, if you will, then this opportunity likely would have passed me by because I would have never started to engage with the person sitting next to me. I just would have been there on my phone, dilly-dallying around and not using the skills that I had been working on. But instead of being on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it was back then, I was trying to refine my skills. I was trying to improve my skills. I was trying to test my skills, even in a non-dating setting. And so that's what I want to stress to you, is that Cold approach doesn't need to necessarily be about dating. It can be about building a social circle. It can be about building a network, building business connections. It all comes from cold approach, because really what I did was a cold approach, but in a friendly manner. And I know some of you are going to be like, cold approach for dating is more difficult. And that might be true because of a mental block that you presently have in your head, because you're putting this woman on a pedestal, or because you're just putting pressure on yourself for God knows what reason why. But this is just an example of how if you put yourself out there, if you work on your social skills, then it can change your life in more ways than dating. It can change your bank account, and it can change the whole trajectory of your life, because I'll tell you that this one connection made me over 7 figures. So I know my channel is a lot about dating, but I do want to inspire you to become a better version of yourself for more reasons than dating, because it's going to help you have a better life. Yes, it's going to improve your dating life. It's going to improve your bank account. It's going to give you that financial freedom, that time freedom, that location freedom that so many men crave and seek. So with all that said, that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it. If you have any comments, leave those down below. Once again, smash the like button, really helps me out with the algorithm, and I will see you guys in the next video. And as always, peace, much love.